Okay, so we just talked about writing the question presented, and you had nice little practice. It's a lot harder than it looks, isn't it? That little structure makes it look like, oh, this is no problem, but then when you actually write it, it can be pretty tricky. So anyway, the brief answer. The brief answer is the second half to the executive summary for an office memo. Remember that office memos aren't read from beginning to end usually. They're read according to the reader's needs. So if the reader just wants a quick summary, then they'll read the question presented in a brief answer. Or if the reader needs a more in-depth analysis so they can go into a settlement conference or something, then they'll read the discussion section and get more of the detail. So the brief answer is just a quick summary of the answer. This here is an example from the sample memo that's in Research the Law in Appendix A. So all the way in the back of Research the Law, you have a sample memo there to kind of give context for everything. And this is the question presented, brief answer from that. So you can see another example of the question presented and the brief answer. And what we're going to talk about here are these parts. It starts with a one-word answer, no, the brief answer does, and then the conclusion there, the prediction, and then the elements. The tort of false imprisonment consists of, they're the elements, and then it states the issue there, just really quickly focuses the reader on which element is at issue. So you see what's going on? In the question presented, it was this broad issue of, was somebody falsely imprisoned? And now we're narrowing the reader's focus to just one element, or two elements, or however many are at issue, but we focus the reader quickly down to an element, and then we spend the rest of the brief answer summarizing the reasons. Okay, so the short one or two word answer, like yes, no, probably, probably not, state the elements, state the narrow issue, and then summarize your reasons. Okay, so that's what I just said here, summarized on this slide here. Okay, I think we just talked about a lot of this here. For the short one or two word answer, your options are yes, no, probably, probably not. So whatever you think, it's okay to hedge, because with a prediction, you just never know what the right answer is. And so it's okay to say probably or likely. The one thing that's always wrong is to say maybe. Maybe just means you have no way of predicting the outcome, and that 99% of the time isn't the case. You can predict the outcome usually. Okay, and then there's another summary of the parts there. Okay, so let me give you an example here. So here I just kind of summarized a question presented. So basically it's whether a judge abused her discretion in granting the injunction. So that's the broad question. Was there an abuse of discretion? And then look at this brief answer. What do you think? So hopefully you notice it's missing some things. First of all, there's not the short one or two word answer. We need yes, no, probably, probably not. And then there is the elements there. Injunctive relief is proper only when blah, blah, blah. And then there's the conclusion. So this has the elements and the conclusion, but it doesn't state the short one or two word answer, and it doesn't summarize the reasons. Now this one here has the short one or two word answer. It has in one sentence both the elements and the reason. I think to make this even better, I would take a little more time to explain the reasons, but B is better than A. Okay, the second one is better than the first one because the second one has the short one or two word answer, and it has a reason. And the reason is simply that it was outweighed one way or the other. It could go even further and give some more reasoning, some more of a summary of the reasons. Okay, all right. So that's the brief answer. I think the best thing to do with this is when you're ready to write it, you already know your prediction. So start with yes or no, according to whether you think that the drone danger was obviously necessary or not, or whether Munns accepted the risk or not. Okay, start with that answer. And then write a sentence that states that, says, yes, Munns did assume the risk of harm, or no, Munns did not assume the risk of harm. And then you want to state the elements, and the elements come from the statute. And then after the statute, state the narrow question. The narrow question is whether the drone's danger is obviously necessary. And then you need to summarize your reasons. So go to your rule application section and write down or highlight all of the reasons, like highlight the sentences that represent the reasons that you wrote, and put that here in the brief answer. Okay, so you need to summarize your reasons. I take that very seriously, so make sure you know what your reasons are and summarize them here in the brief answer. Okay, now let me just zoom ahead quickly to the conclusion. The conclusion is the last section of the memo, and it should be 2 sentences. This is not like undergrad where you wrote a really long conclusion. Okay, it's nothing like that. This is this is in a document where you've already stated the conclusion many times. It's in the brief answer. It's in the umbrella. It's at the beginning of your rule application section. It is throughout your rule application section. So you don't need a lot more than just a couple of sentences here. So in the conclusion, just simply write your overall conclusion again. Munns did or did not accept the risk. And then state the next steps, what you think we should do next. All right, should we negotiate? Should we settle? Should we write a letter? Do we need more information on something? Like, what should we do next? Okay, the next steps. And I realize you're not experts at civil procedure, so just do your best in coming up with what you can there. Okay. All right, now we're going to slip in here the statement of facts. So this PowerPoint also has the statement of facts. Of course, it's in the textbook. The main thing I want to emphasize here, because you can read the textbook, you don't need to watch me talk about this. The main thing is, when you write the statement of facts, write it as a story from beginning to end, so chronologically. And then you want to make sure that you have the legally significant facts there. So those are the facts that directly line up with the elements of obvious and necessary. And so what you should do is go into your rule application section where you're doing your reasoning and highlight every place you use a fact from our story. So if you say the drone is 14 inches square, that needs to be here in the statement of facts. If in the reasoning section you say that it's white or black or whatever color it is, you can make up that fact, then make sure that color is here. If you put in the reasoning a fact that he was skiing on a moderately difficult or an easy run, make sure that is here. Okay, so any fact you rely on in your rule application section, make sure that it's here in the statement of facts, and then that will ensure that you're including the legally significant facts here in the statement of facts. Okay, so that's kind of the main thing here. All right, that's the highlight or cross-check. That's what I was just talking about. So that's the main thing there. Okay, now with all of this, you're going to write up your memo, and you're going to write up the question presented, the brief answer, the statement of facts, your discussion section is pretty much done, and the conclusion. And that's what you're going to bring to class in week 5. And in week 5, we're going to peer edit it. So you're going to exchange it with somebody, and we're going to dive deep, and we're going to go through each section and edit the heck out of that thing. Okay, so we'll do that next week in class. So be sure to bring it either as a hard copy that you can physically give to somebody, or bring it on your computer and you can exchange computers, or you can email it to somebody else. But have it available in one form or the other so you can edit it in class. Okay? All right. See ya.